entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli, baby. Yes. The New York Knicks had a tremendous win last night in Toronto. Taking care of those boys up north was easy work.
Crazy work.
Easy work. 139-125. Once again, it's just another iteration of thwarting a revenge tour by former Knicks. The first time it was in Minnesota, where we had to get rid of the Dante DiVincenzo's and the Julius Randle's bitterness. And then we go up north. And then we take care of them Canadian boys up north, IQ and RJ Barrett. Just another notch under the belt. Just another notch under the belt to get rid of them Canadian boys. They call them BBQ. Barrett, IQ, and Barnes. I don't know. Yeah, BBQ. You know what I mean? So, boys is out of here. I'm telling you, man, it's so crazy. The beautiful level of basketball that's being played by the New York Knicks. It was a Broadway show last night. Since it was the Broadway bully, it was a Broadway show last night, and all of the members of the New York Knicks were Broadway bullies. They were Broadway bullies last night, putting on a Broadway show. It's only right that it was in New York. Only right that it was in New York. The passing, the ball not sticking. Come on, man. 3-point shooting, 2-point shooting, floor burns. The New York Knicks are an elite basketball team. The New York Knicks are an elite basketball team. And we're going to get into it right here on Knicks Deli.
You're mad. I'm back. Big man.
What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli. I'm your host, Sheer. And you already know we are first to many and second to no one when it comes to the news, team views, and a who's who connected to our New York Knicks. Now, if you're visiting the Knicks Deli for the first time, I want to welcome you.
What's up, big pie?
Let me explain how this works. Here at Knicks Deli, there's 4 items on the menu, okay? First on the menu is the bacon, egg, and cheese. The bacon, egg, and cheese obviously is made of 3 phenomenal ingredients that come together to make that sandwich one of the best sandwiches in New York. So, we're going to look at who are the 3 players. Who are the 3 players whose contribution to this game made it a phenomenal effort and put us over the top to get this win. Next on the menu is the dollar slice. Now everyone knows the world famous New York pizza is the best in the world. So we're going to talk about who is the dollar slice of the game. The dollar slice represents stability. So what player really had an impact on this game that represented stability? The next item on the menu is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be bussin'. And we call that the chopped cheese, okay? So we're going to look at who is the chopped cheese. Relatively new contribution to the game. But you know what? It was bussin' and helped us get over the top. And lastly, you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the chopped cheese if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here at Knicks Deli, we call that the quarter water of the game. So we're going to look at who's the quarter water of the game. Who came in and brought that energy, whether it's in one quarter, a little bit for each quarter, that really helped us get over the top and secure this victory. All right. So that is, for the most part, all the positive things about Knicks, the Knicks Deli menu. But then we have one part of the Knicks Deli menu that we reserve for those people who get lost in our neighborhood. And we know that are ops, but they're hungry. And here at Knicks Deli, everybody eats. So we got to feed them too. But we reserve for them one special item that's on the menu. And we call that the Gizzy of the game.
Hey, yo!
Ayo is right. So Ayo goes to, whether it's a person or a player, something that was said out of pocket, or be like, hey, yo, pause. Then we're going to look at who is the nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game. Nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game makes you look at somebody and be like, nah, son, nah, you wildin'. So we're going to look at who said what through that element. And I'm just tie it all together, man. The New York Knicks are stringing together a series of wins, man, that'll make it saying this is the best game of the season. This is the best game that I've watched this season. So I'm excited to jump in and talk about it. So let's do just that. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, I want to welcome you. That is the description of Knicks Deli. If you are returning to the channel, my KD community, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you back and thank you for rocking with me. All right, so let's get into it. Without further ado, who's the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese for this game? And the person who I am going to give the bacon is going to be our guy, OG mother flipping Anunoby. Round of applause for OG Anunoby. To a tune of 31 loud points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. This is the OG Anunoby that I was kind of surprised to see. You see it incrementally happening. He's more and more coming from out of his shell. He's showing more personality. He's showing more emotion. He's leaning into his funny Marco type of shtick. You know, he knows about the weirdness. He embraces the weirdness. You know what I mean? And but this element of his game was loud. The man was all over the court. Several things that stood out that just made me proud to be a Knicks fan, to be watching him on our team. First thing that stood out, you know, he was playing his former team. And the former team games usually bring out the beasts in whoever it was that was traded or signed with free agency from another team. So you knew that was going to happen. Next up, OG, he was on one last night. I mean, from defense to hustle to offense, the man was in his bag last night. And I couldn't have said it anymore. First and foremost, like I said, he was going head to head versus the player he was traded for, RJ mother flipping Barrett. Bully Barrett had come back to the Garden and was hoping to have a flu game. He was hoping to have one of those redeemed games in Madison Square Garden. And it was our job to stop him, and leading that charge was OG Anunoby. OG was doing it all. Look, Jamal Crawford, who is phenomenal on the microphone, boy. Pause. Jamal Crawford is outstanding with Mike Breen. So we're gonna get into that as well, to give him his props, his roses. But Jamal Crawford said he was like a shutdown corner last night. And I'm watching the game and I'm listening to him say it, and he's describing it perfectly. Yo, OG Anunoby was all over the floor. All over the floor, active hands as usual. It's like I say that every time, active hands, disrupting passing lanes, blocking shots, you know, covering mistakes made by his teammate. The man was all over the place. OG also was hitting the floor. Man, I felt like I was back in the 90s. That man clearly could have been a starter on our team in the 90s. 90s style, the man is hitting the floor. He's getting elbow burns, all of that, man. And once again, Jamal Crawford is calling it right. He said, those are culture plays. Those are winning plays. And it's funny because you can take it for granted when you see it on a night-to-night basis coming from OG. And the same thing I say about Cat, where I didn't really understand how good he was. The same thing applied for OG. When we were being rumored to get OG Anunoby from Toronto all of those years, I kept trying to do research. I kept trying to look up the tape on this man. And I was just like, there's nothing impressive about this man on tape. You know, I don't know if he had enough reps because Kawhi was there. He was playing behind Kawhi or alongside Kawhi. I was looking, I was just like, yo, bro, I'm not impressed. I'm not sure if we should give up a player like RJ Barrett for OG Anunoby. You know what I mean? I think that is either a sideward step or a step down. But I'm mistaken, man. It's a difference when you watch somebody play night in and night out, because a lot of his stats don't show up on the stat sheet. But tonight they did, once again, to a tune of 31 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and not just 31 points. Those are not aired out stats. The man was hot. The man had a loud 31 points last night. The man was 13 of 15 last night. At one point, the man was 11 for 11 from the field. He was cooking. The man was cooking. And something else that stands out, and I can't help but notice it when they play against the Raptors, the man was automatic from the quarter 3. The moment a player drives the basketball, collapses the defense, and kicks it out to that corner, if OG Anunoby is there, I'm throwing up the threes. I'm throwing them up. I'm 3 to the dome and before the shot even goes up. Couldn't say that with RJ Barrett. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You could not say that with RJ Barrett. I know a lot of my fellow Knicks fans are RJ lovers. Listen, the man couldn't hit a damn 3-pointer from the side corner.
Slow back.
The man was hitting the side of the rim. It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing, bro. But it's automatic for OG. It's automatic. And you could tell this was the level of in his baggedness that OJ was on. OG was on last night. It should have been OJ because he was killing him out. He was killing him out there.
What did he say?
This is the level of in his baggedness that OG was on last night. The man had a move where he did a spin move, step back, jumper.
Crazy work.
Yo, I was sitting there. I'm sitting there leaning back in my chair, man, just drinking a coffee. Like, I'm drinking a coffee. This is some phenomenal coffee. This man is out here brewing. Something is brewing right now. OG Anunoby. And lastly, just to tie up all of my reverence for OG, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know if we've had a player that's a non-center who entered that chat before. So I would really be excited. I mean, not when you got Wembanyama in the league, okay, eight blocking, but I really would love for him to see or make top 3 or 4 Defensive Player of the Year, because the way he's playing early on, he absolutely deserves it. And with that being said, let's put our hands together, give a round of applause for OG Anunoby, you my guy, the bacon and cheese today here in Knicks Daily.
Knicks Daily Edition.
Next up, who's the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese tonight? And the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese obviously goes to Karl Anthony motherflipping Towns. Round of applause for Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns had a smooth 31 tonight. He had a smooth 31, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, another double-double for the double-double king. You know, the man was 11 of 15 from the field. You know, he once again, so smooth, man. So smooth. Shout out to any Minnesota Timberwolves fans who joined the channel. I tag you guys. I don't tag you guys to rub it in your faces, but you guys doing work out here. You guys doing work out here. And the man developed all those skills in Minnesota. So I'm going to pull you in. Enjoy these, man, because if you're still a fan of Cat, you're going to be a fan of our perspective. You're going to be a fan on how surprised we are at how good this man is. And you're going to be proud of him at how well he's doing in the big city. So let's talk Karl Anthony Towns, man. I'm more and more impressed with him as I watch him night in and night out. I am on record. If you go back and watch any of my videos and they talking about the possibility of bringing Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks, I am on record with my disapproval of that move happening. I thought he was soft. I thought he was coddled. I didn't think he would have enough to deal with the criticism in New York, the critical eye, the heat of the spotlight, the brightness of the show. I thought he would wilt, not Chamberlain. But what the man did was he embraced it. The man is more physical than he was advertised. He is better than he's advertised. And when it comes to his confidence and how he ranks in terms of his output in this league, his contribution to this league, and putting up his numbers against other Hall of Famers, the man is, look, he got something to be talking his talk. He got something to be talking his talk. And last night, once again, was another night in which he proved it. The man made a move in the second quarter in terms of getting the foul and getting the continuation that really put on display his versatility and his strength. He really got fouled almost at the top of the key and took 2 strides and still got the basket in continuation. It's crazy. It's crazy. His agility, it's just crazy. Something else that stands out is his passing. Night in, night out, the man makes a pass that makes you look at him like. And it also covers up from that narrative about him playing so far away from the basket that he's only good for one thing, that the defense can only lock in on him if he's taking a jump shot, since he is that far out from the basket. No, he's an additional threat. Not only at 7 feet can he see over most of the defense most of the time, but he has the capability and the ability to make that pass. And he's been doing it time after time while having on a Knicks jersey. So that's impressive. This is the 4th longest double-double streak in NBA and New York Knicks history that this man is on. That's impressive. He's playing under Tibbs. The way he's playing under Tibbs is a testament to the man's maturity. A lot of us doubted whether or not he would be able to adjust now that Tibbs had landed on his feet, now that Tibbs has the entire locker room, on his same page as him. How would Karl-Anthony Towns adjust when part of the narrative when Tibbs got fired was that he was behind it and that he couldn't take the defense and the discipline? But Karl-Anthony Towns said himself, he was just like, when I was in Minnesota, I was a boy. Now that I'm playing here in New York, I'm in my manhood. I'm doing my man thing. It's different. And that's clearly a testimony. His play is a testimony of that mindset. He is locked in. And the New York Knicks have moved from an ISO-centric offense to anyone can destroy you offense. And that's, look, you only have to go as far as, trigger alert, Timberwolves fans. You only have to go as far as Minnesota Timberwolves highlights. And then listen, go to their talk shows, go to their podcasts, listen to the fans talk. Don't they sound like Knicks fans from last year? Don't they sound like Knicks fans from the last 5 years? We have moved from an ISO-centric offense to an anyone can destroy you offense. At minimum, 4 players on the team can give you buckets. At minimum, 4 players on the team can get you buckets. And to wrap that up, Karl-Anthony Towns, man, bro, the man is at the point, he got his Timbs, he talking his talk. He even said, I don't have to play like anyone else. I'm an original. And the more and more you watch this man play, you watch the different variations and intricacies of his game. Yo, it's hard to argue that. How many players do you know play like him? Some people was like, when he talked about being the best shooting big man in the league, only people could look at him and be like, yo, you know what? You gonna say that with Dirk? But this man is showing. He's showing something different. And it's just good to be a Knicks fan at the center of it, front row, getting the view. So, round of applause, everybody, for the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese today. Our guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. Round of applause. Next up, who is the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli this morning? Let's talk about who is the
Knicks
cheese
Deli Edition.
at the Knicks Deli Edition. All right, and the cheese goes to our guy, Cam motherflipping Payne. Round of applause for our guy, Cam Payne. Yo, Cam Payne was snapping last night. Obviously, Jalen Brunson got off to a rocky start. Jalen Brunson had a tough type of game, and he's entitled to have that. Jalen Brunson has been carrying us for like mad seasons already. If he's been here for 3 seasons, he's been carrying us for like 3 seasons, okay? This man is entitled to have an off game. And it's almost like Cam Payne smelt the blood in the water. He almost suggested and knew it and was just like, yo, don't worry about it, big dog. I got you. And he stepped in the game and he was heat checking from the moment he stepped on the floor. Cam Payne was a problem. 7 of 10 for 19 points in 15 minutes. The man was un-motherflipping conscious last night. It's like he sensed Brunson was off and he was just like, I got you, family. I got you. The man had 14 points in 8 minutes in the first half. The man had 14 points in the first 8 minutes in the first half. He was literally blacking out. Okay? He brought the energy, he brought the crowd engagement, he was aggressive, he was vocal. The man knew where he was. And we're so accustomed to other opponents coming into our arena and putting on a show. He knew where he was. He said, I am the effing show. So sit down and enjoy the show. That's what Cam Payne was talking last night. The man is turning out to be the perfect pickup for the New York Knicks. He has an edge to him, but also a good energy that's about him as well. What I really love is, in addition to his game, just how he's been able to adapt and adjust socially on the team. He blends right in. He fits right in. His post-game interview shenanigans where he's serving as a distraction for OG. Once again, another player who is making OG comfortable, pulling him out of his shell. You know, he's always in the background doing something to lighten the mood. Also, the fact that he shares the Selly celebration with McCall Bridges, you know, I love that, man. You know, like when we talk about chemistry, all of that goes a long way, especially when you have moments where you're in the trenches and you battling side by side with your guys. You going through highs and you go through lows. It's good. The most underrated thing that you really can't measure is chemistry. And that's something that we're seeing after every game with this New York Knicks team. So once again, it was a great pickup and another great decision by Leon Rose. And with that being said, let's put our hands together and give a round of applause for Payne, ladies and gentlemen. Next up on the menu is the dollar slice. Who was the dollar slice? The dollar slice represents stability in New York. So we're going to talk about who was the dollar slice of the game. And the dollar slice has to go to our guy, McCall Bridges. Round of applause for our guy, McCall Mother Flippin' Bridges. That's right. McCall Bridges, 14 points, 4 assists, 5 of 10. Every game. The man's middle name should be Steady Improvement. The man's middle name should be Steady Improvement, because that's what he is doing night in and night out. He is building brick by brick his contributions to this New York Knicks team with every passing game. Couple of quick things that I love about him. Quick release. Once again, the man is shooting with more confidence. He's hitting from the corner three. He's hitting off the dribble. He's doing turnaround fadeaways. The man is just in such a rhythm now that the confidence is coming along with it. He has a comfort level. I love it. And you can't underestimate the fact that the comfort level comes from the comfort of having and being supported by your friends on the team, the Nova Boys. That absolutely makes a difference. And if you don't believe me, just check over with Dante DiVincenzo in Minnesota. The man, I'm not saying that to make fun, the man looks miserable, bro. The man looks so disrupted. He's trying his best to be a professional, but it does make a difference when you are in a comfortable environment and you could just be free to play basketball. All right? And also, McCall Bridges, this is still only the first half of the season. He is going to continue to get better. So Net fans, I'm so sorry. But Brooklyn Bridges is real. And it's inside of Madison Square Garden. And lastly, it's just so ill. I talked about OG Anunoby, and I'm talking about McCall Bridges. And if we're talking about who's the big three of the New York Knicks, after you get past Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, who's your third option on this team? The third option, we have two of them. The New York Knicks have two third options. Y'all keep ignoring us when we say we're dangerous and we're coming for the lead. A great test is going to be tomorrow when we face Wembanyama and those pesky Spurs. It's going to be a great test to see our style of play versus somebody who is pretty much going to be the face of the league in 2 years, unstoppable already as a rookie. But we're going to see. So round of applause. Put your hands together for McCall motherfucking Bridges. McCall Bridges. Next up on the menu is the chopped cheese. Now, chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So who is the chopped cheese of the game? And the chopped cheese has got to go to our guy, Deuce. Round of applause for our guy, Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride contributed last night to the tune of 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. One thing I just kept absolutely looking at the screen with pride about when watching Deuce on the floor, the man is so comfortable as a point guard now. The man is so comfortable if he's called to be a combo guard. Anywhere you need me to be, coach, I'll be there. Anything you need me to do on the floor, coach, I'll do it. I got you covered. Not only am I versatile, I'm high level in whatever contribution I put out on the floor. He's so disruptive defensively. It's stupid. He's so disruptive. We have versatile players on the team who can be disruptive one-on-one with their guys on defense. So when they come together, it's like art. We're seeing flashes of it. By the second half of the season, don't let our defense catch up with our offense. We're already showing that. I think we're like top 3 in December in terms of defensive rating. You telling me our defense has a chance to catch up with our offense? That's what you telling me? Come on, B. Come on, B. We outside. We outside. So I love having a guy like Josh Hart on the team because it just reinforces the contributions that McBride makes. I mean, basically, McBride is following a lot of the same. You look at his stat lines in games, it looks like Josh's. It's starting to look like Josh's. And that's what you want. If Josh is the example, you got multiple of that on the team. Come on, man. It's unrelenting. It is unrelenting. So, Deuce McBride, he's him. You know, the man is married to the game. The magic is in the work for him. And maturity feels like he knows and understands his role and how it's going to contribute to winning basketball and winning championships. And that's the piece that I really love. His confidence is through the roof. It's palpable. It's tangible. All right. The man's confidence, you know, in a short conversation with RJ, you know, I like to watch all of those parts of the game, before, after, during. And at the end of the game, when, you know, there was, you know, just kind of catching up, exchanging niceties, he must have said something to RJ, and RJ had that energy, kind of like, yeah, you still my young bro. But Deuce had that look on him like, nah, man, you know, we coming to take the bread off your plate, bro. You come over here with that young bro energy, and I'm gonna take your cornbread off the plate. You gonna eat that cornbread? I'm gonna take the cornbread off your plate. That's the energy that, at least I interpreted. It couldn't have been that, but that's the energy that it looked like Deuce had and like RJ had. And that's what I love. That's what shows the confidence that he plays with. The man plays like a football player out there on defense. When he goes to grab a rebound or fight for a rebound, he doesn't just fight for the rebound. It's not a tug of war. He rips that thing. He rips it like he's trying to knock a ball free on the football field. I love that, man. So round of applause for the chopped cheese, Deuce McBride, another dog we have in the New York Knicks. Round of applause for our guy, Deuce McBride. Now, like I said, you can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese. You can't have the dollar slice if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here in Knicks Deli, we call that the quarter water of the game. So who's the quarter water of the game? Who's that player that comes in and really gives you juice, a lightning bolt of energy in one quarter or multiple quarters to help put us over the top and get that victory? And I just talked about him. I just talked about that man. Round of applause for Josh Mother Flippin' Hart. Mr. Everything, Josh Hart. Yeah, Josh Hart is the quarter water of the game. The man had 11 points last night. He had 4 assists, so he had 3 rebounds. He was 3 of 6 from the field goal range. Like Charles Oakley, like Anthony Mason, like Udonis Haslem, like Dennis Rodman. This guy does impactful things that do not show up on the stat sheet, but it absolutely impacts winning. If it's a big 3-point shot, if it's a phenomenal pass. Did you see that spin bounce pass that he made to a streaking Jalen Brunson last night? Man, it is so enjoyable. You know what? You always hear about them saying the New York Knicks have the most knowledgeable fan base in sports or in the league. And you only get knowledgeable like that when you watch beautiful basketball plays like that. The New York Knicks are meeting that traditional model of playing the right way. You see it. And we're surprised by it because we haven't seen it in so long. You see the style of basketball that's being played. And that was a beautiful pass last night by Josh Hart to our guy Brunson. So once again, I'm not even going to hold you up on that. His confidence, his jump shot, his confidence that he gives to his teammates. I think when he first got to the Knicks, he was more jovial than he was serious. But his game started getting louder and louder, and his effort and the style of play and his seriousness in terms of his approach to the game started surpassing the clownish type of energy that he had. So he stands side by side, almost kind of like the Arn Anderson, the Ric Flair of wrestling, side by side with Brunson, in terms of being able to, be silly and light in the environment, but also when it's time to work, he puts his hard hat on and he's ready to get dirty. So round of applause for our guy, the quarter water tonight here in Knicks Daily, Josh Hart.
Knicks Daily Edition.
All right. So we're done with the positive stuff on the menu. We're down to our last two items and then my thoughts. So the last item on the menu is not necessarily positive, but come on, man, we can't front. Here in New York, this is something that we are not strangers to, and it's called the glizzy of the game. Who gets the glizzy of the game? Hey yo is right. And the glizzy of the game is almost a flashback type of example. We're gonna give it to him anyway. The glizzy of the game goes to Gilbert Motherflippin' Arenas, host of the Gil's Arena podcast. Now, throw your booze up. Yeah. Throw your booze. Throw your thumbs down or your tomatoes in the chat for this guy, Gilbert Arenas. Now, I'm only giving it to him because Gilbert Arenas had talked about once Jalen Brunson began really kind of dominating and showing that he's going to be here. He ain't going nowhere. He's not going to be considered a backup from this point forward. That he is the real deal. Gilbert Arenas tried to poo-poo him. He was just saying, yeah, I don't know. He just looks like he want to stab somebody. I don't know how marketable he is. He's good, but you can't sell what he does. And he was talking all this smack, saying that Jalen Brunson isn't marketable. And it's so funny because now, at this point in time, maybe even 2 years after the fact, what do we see? What do we see with Brunson? We see Brunson on WWE on the opposite side of Halliburton from Indiana. We see Brunson on late night TV shows, him and Josh Hart being interviewed on national stages. Who do we see? What do we see? We see the Christmas commercial that was remixed this year with more recent stars, and Jalen Brunson is one of them. Okay? What do we see? We see the Aura commercial with the ring and the health benefits. What else do we see? We see him make an all-star game last season. Marketable? He's not marketable? The man, what do we see? We see him with a podcast that really has taken off in terms of the roommates, and now he's having real like Hollywood stars on there. I saw Edie Falco on there the other night. This is what our captain, and he's captain of the New York Knicks. Marketable? Yeah. I need you to sit over in that corner with Becky Hammond. All right? I need both of y'all to get yourselves together because I got something to feed you and I want you to enjoy it. Okay? Don't leave anything on the plate. Yeah, you better eat that. And don't spit it on the carpet. So, glizzy of the game goes to Gilbert Arenas. Hey yo is right. And lastly, who is the nah son nah, you wildin' moment of the game? And I struggled because it was close to the glizzy of the game, but by definition, it didn't meet the requirement. But I'm glad to have had the nah son nah, you wildin' moment of the game left to give it to him.
Pause.
Nah son nah,
you wildin'. And that goes to Jamal Crawford. I love our guy Jamal Crawford, JC, doing an outstanding job. Once a Knick, always a Knick. And now he's doing a tremendous job in the booth as the color commentator next to Mike Breen. But, the man said something last night on the telecast, and I was just like, did everybody hear that? Yo, the man said, and I'll quote, "Put the defense asleep and attack Grady Dick." Put the defense asleep and attack Grady Dick. Hey yo, Jamal Crawford, you get the nah son nah. You wildin' moment of the game.
Son nah.
You wildin' for that one. All right. So that is it right now for Knicks Deli. My final thoughts is this, bro. The Knicks dominated last night. They dominated last night on multiple levels. Toronto didn't know who was hitting them. they just felt they were getting slapped and kicked out of nowhere, and they're looking around and they don't know where the feet and the hands are coming from. The New York Knicks are messing around and having their defense catch up with their offense. The New York Knicks have an offense that they have never had. They have an offense that they were hoping to have when D'Antoni was the coach. And the person at the helm of this is Tom Thibodeau. The New York Knicks are moving with swagger, they're moving with chemistry, and they're only getting better. The New York Knicks is preparing to add Mitchell Robinson to the crew. The New York Knicks have already added Landry Shamet to the crew. 3-point shooting, defense and rebounding, and offensive rebounding. The New York Knicks are an elite basketball team. And a test of that is going to be tomorrow. Not saying that the Spurs is outstandingly overwhelming, but they have an outstandingly overwhelming basketball player on the other side. So how the New York Knicks adjust and how we show up in that game is going to say a lot about how we stead in this league. But I got news for you. The jokes and the laughter is quietly simmering down. The other fan bases don't talk as brashly as they used to talk. Those are silent whispers we hear coming from across the bridge. They ain't saying nothing. All that chatty patty stuff that was being had not only on the national television shows, but on the podcast by former players, all of that is zipped. All of that is zipped. And New York Knicks fans are circling the block.
We circling the block. We spinning the block.
And we spinning the block.
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
And we shutting all that down. We shutting all that down. And we calling it out when we see it. The moment somebody says something, we look at them like,
This bitch!
right away. And we shut that down. The New York Knicks are hitting elite territory. And they have, Leon Roston came in and flipped the entire roster. Think back to when we signed Leon Rose. Think back to when we signed Leon Rose. And he said the two cornerstones are RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, the kid Mitchell Robinson. And then, we got good pieces. We think we have good pieces. And my question is, what was his honest assessment? What was he seeing? I know he was saying he was just like, we just don't have enough. So what's the thought process behind that? What's the planning? What are the behind the scenes discussions? And how do you navigate that when you've developed such relationships with these players? Thank you to RJ. Thank you to Julius. Thank you to IQ. Thank you to Obi. They had no choice to play here, but they wanted to play here. They carried New York on their chest and on their shoulders proudly. But Leon Rose, when you're in positions of leadership, management, CEO of a company, you have to make these difficult decisions. You have to make logic over heart decisions. And what happens when you do? And then you treat people right. You place them in positions where they can win or get paid. He did that. And then you come with a team like this. The man pulled off Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns in the same season to go along with Jalen Brunson. The ball does not stick, the ball moves. We are not isocentric as we used to be with Brunson on the floor. The New York Knicks are elite, and I'm loving every moment of it. This is the best Christmas gift you can get. What say you? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. There's no struggle, there's no progress. But also, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here at Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I'm your boy Shit, and I'm out. Peace.